by none other than Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts after straining his oblique during throwing drills. The Browns said he's day-to-day, won't practice today, and is unlikely to face the Eagles in their preseason game on Saturday. Head coach Kevin Stefanski addressed the media earlier on when Shedeur Sanders started feeling the strain. Take a listen. It's new on SportsCenter.
Felt it early, I think warming up, and then felt it throughout individuals, so took a look at it. If it's a right guard, you can play through that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw. So unfortunately, going to put him down for a little bit here. We'll treat it day to day and see how he responds, but want to be smart because he's a thrower, so you can't push that thing.
Our Browns reporter Daniel Oyefusi joins us right now. And Daniel, what more can you tell us about the plan for Shedeur Sanders moving forward with the Browns?
Yeah, as Coach Kevin Stefanski said, Shedeur Sanders is going to be day-to-day with that oblique strain and unlikely to play in Saturday's preseason game. When I asked Stefanski what the rehab looks like for Sanders, he said it's going to be a little bit of treatment, a little bit of rest, and then they're going to see how he responds in the coming days. I will say, when I watched Sanders on the practice field, maybe a good sign, he was fully dressed for the practice. He was doing some handoffs during individual drills, but not throwing just yet because they don't want to put strain on that oblique.
Yeah, definitely a good sign right there. And the Cleveland Browns, they have no shortage of quarterbacks. With Sanders dealing with an injury, what's Cleveland's plan at quarterback for preseason game number 2?
Yeah, for all the talk about this quarterback competition, it's really been a quarterback carousel with all the injuries and guys in and out of the lineup. Coach Kevin Stefanski wouldn't even commit before practice to Gabriel starting until he wanted to see how his hamstring responded to practice. But it does look like we're on track to see Gabriel start that game. And then, as you know, Kenny Pickett remains limited with his hamstring injury. Joe Flacco is going to get the rest as he's been practicing with the starters. So behind Gabriel, it'll be Tyler Huntley, who's been with the team for a little over a week now.
Look, plenty of able bodies in that quarterback room. Browns take on the Eagles Saturday at 1 Eastern for preseason game number 2. Daniel Oyefusi with the latest. Thanks so much.
So the Browns quarterback room, a MASH unit. Questions continue to swirl about the quarterback situation there. Let's dive in deeper with senior front office insider Mike Tannenbaum. And Mike, how does Sanders' injury impact his place on the QB depth chart?
Molly, it's very significant. Shedeur played really well against the Panthers. We saw why he led the nation in completion percentage, 2 really good touchdown passes, but by not playing this week, it's hugely consequential. He had a chance to maybe get up to second or third. It just didn't seem like Cleveland wants to start anyone other than Joe Flacco, so they have one more game against the Rams. Ideally, he'll play that week, but it's remarkable when it's all said and done. Right now, the 40-year-old Joe Flacco is the one healthy quarterback on the Browns QB depth chart.
Yeah, as a 5th-round draft pick, every rep counts for Sanders. Training camp's such a valuable time for a rookie. Mike, we will chat with you soon. Don't go anywhere.
And meanwhile, on the other side, the Eagles are dealing with injuries of their own. Receiver A.J. Brown sat out for day 2 of joint practices as the Eagles remain cautious with his hamstring injury. New offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo still getting his guys acclimated. Here's Nick Sirianni on how everyone is adjusting.
I know that they've always had a good relationship, and it's cool to watch. You guys can ask them more, but it's cool to watch them interact on a daily basis, whether it's in the meeting room, whether it's on the field, whether it's I'll stop by Kevin's office, Jalen will be in there. It's great. I think Jalen's doing a really nice job. I really think he's doing a good job of continuing to master the offense. That's something that you can always continue to get better at, going through your reads, getting through your reads, not putting the ball at risk, and the more reps he gets at a certain play, those all build up. And so, a lot of similar things, a lot of new wrinkles too, that our future opponents will have to be, they won't see until they play us game 1, game 2, game 3.
Our Eagles reporter Tim McManus is with us right now. We just heard from Nick Sirianni on QB1. So Tim, what do you see from Jalen Hurts in the offense today?
Yeah, Amina, 2 words to describe Hurts' day: under fire. Now, this offense is shorthanded. We know Landon Dickerson sidelined because of that meniscus surgery. No Lane Johnson because of a rest day, save for Saquon Barkley. A.J. Brown sidelined with a hamstring injury. So there was a lot of Myles Garrett getting into the backfield and a lot of Jalen Hurts scrambling and trying to find options, and there was fewer of them on this day. Now, there were some highlights, including him being able to get loose and find Devontae Smith over the middle. He was was working with running back Will Shipley a good amount, hitting him in the flat. We all know that this offense is pretty loaded, and come regular season, the expectation is that they should be pretty close to full bore. But the joint practices and training camp is all about growth, and Hurts talked about the fact that these joint practices are good for learning about where you are and where you have the opportunity to go. That was a lot about what today was all about.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts still learning under that new offensive coordinator as well out there in Philadelphia. Hurts ran for 14 touchdowns last season. We'll see how he looks in this new offense in the weeks to come. Tim McManus with the latest. Thanks so much.
Ooh, Jalen Hurts scrambling and under fire. Not what we want to hear, especially Eagles fans don't want to hear that. We're back now with Mike Tannenbaum. Mike, what do you see as the biggest challenge for this Eagles offense as they try to get back to the Super Bowl?
Well, Molly, assuming that their guard situation gets cleared up, which Tim just alluded to, and hopefully Landon Dickerson gets back. Again, they lost Mekhi Becton in the offseason. It's really two things. One, it's their downfield passing game. Last year, they only averaged 197 yards per game in their passing game, which really isn't good enough. So we want to see them get the ball down the field like we're looking at here. And then secondly, Jalen Hurts' sack rate was way too high. It was 10%. So given as good of a line as they have, either he's holding the ball or because of injuries, but they have to reduce his sack rate. That will help them become more explosive on offense.
Yeah, high expectations for the reigning champs. Eagles regular season kicks off September 4th against the Cowboys. Mike, thanks so much. And you mentioned Landon Dickerson. This happened at Browns-Eagles practice today. The offensive lineman, fresh off of a minor knee surgery, not practicing on the field, wearing a sleeve around his right leg, but he's bringing the vibes for a post-practice beer. That's a good teammate right there.
Out on my bingo card. Back to the NFL, where the Colts are wrapping up training camp with a joint practice with the Packers. The Colts in the midst of a quarterback battle between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Head coach Shane Steichen making it clear that the battle will continue as long as necessary before naming their starter. Our Colts reporter Stephen Holder joins us right now. Two quarterbacks with two totally different styles of play. So, Stephen, where does the quarterback battle stand right now out there in Indy?
Well, Amina, as you mentioned, it is the last day of training camp here in Westfield, Indiana, getting ready for that joint practice. The Colts, this quarterback battle, it's really been going on for quite a few months now, if you really think about it. This was declared an open competition, frankly, from the day Daniel Jones signed his one-year contract back in March. So this has been a process that's been ongoing, and we are potentially and hopefully reaching its apex here as we go into this final practice and then the second preseason game on Saturday against these same Packers. The Colts had promised to take their time with this decision, and that remains true. They're one of only 3 teams that haven't declared their starter just yet, but they have a lot of information to go on. They've seen a lot from these two quarterbacks, and they're going to see a little bit more here in the coming days.
Now, let's focus in on Anthony Richardson. What have you seen from the QB in camp, and how has he grown going into year 3?
It's a really interesting story. He's still a young player. He's 23 years old. He was 20 years old when he was drafted here. And for him, it's more than just staying healthy, which is maybe the biggest thing. He's missed 17 games in 2 years. And then also, obviously, just playing more consistently. But there's also the matter of just being more professional and taking ownership of the job. And I'll give you an example that Richardson gave me. He said, look, this is not the most important thing, but he wanted to drill down on everything and leave no detail unturned this past offseason. One of the things he drilled down on was his diet. He said, I was eating too much sugar. So you know what he did? He cut out the cakes that his mom bakes. He cut out the candy. And the culprit number 1, Skittles.
Oh.
Can you believe it? Skittles. So we'll see if that's the difference at all, or it makes a difference. But he lost 10 pounds, so we're off to a good start. It's about the professionalism and the attention to detail.
And look, me and him have that in common. Skittles are my weakness. However, my mom is not telling me not to eat Skittles. I don't have to go out there and play on the field. Stephen Holder with the latest. Thanks so much.